This is the plain dealer after the Cavaliers made that big trade a couple of weeks ago, the big four, the four plan, the four new players, Larry-Nance-Jr., George Hill, Jordan-Clarkson, and Rodney Hood. And of course, right away they came out and won two terrific games with that group where they knocked off Oklahoma City and Boston. Well, we've had several games now to look at them, and I thought I would kind of give these, are like they would call progress reports in school. You know, who are these guys? Well, the first thing I was hoping would happen, and it did just early on. I got not one, not two, not three. I got 4 Energizer batteries there. By the way, this is J.R. Smith's Soup Bowl, just in case you were wondering. But we just kind of put them in there because I actually want JR to get a little energized there, not just, you know, heaving soup at Damon Jones, but just playing a little more like JR did. Because right now, when I look at the Cavaliers, the initial energy, in other words, the energy that those 4 guys brought, is kind of dissipated a little bit, especially defensively. The Cavs are back to being a lazy defensive team. So what about these 4 guys? Which ones are playing well? Who has been a disappointment? My number 1 guy so far, and I granted, because I've known him since a junior in high school, I knew his father, I knew his mother, Janie Nance and Larry Nance, but I think most Cavs fans would probably rate Larry Nance Jr. He's either the top one or the second best player they got in this trade. He is the one guy when he comes into the game that consistently brings, there we go, those, I'll just hold up 1 battery for him. Larry Nance brings energy. And they need that, especially on the defensive end. The number 2 player, a guy that I didn't know a ton about, just having watched a little bit from a distance, and I've liked so far, Jordan-Clarkson. Clarkson is the guard that they got in the deal from the Lakers along with Larry Nance. What I've liked about Clarkson is this guy's shooting over 50% from the field, over 40% on three-pointers. And he has brought, again, I'm going to give him double energy. Double energy coming right off the bench there in just about every game. Once in a while, he seems a little bit out of control, but Clarkson's been really good. Then I go to George Hill. And it's kind of hard to figure out what you're going to get from George. Sometimes the bowl is empty. It looks like he's not there. And then now and then, a couple of the batters get going, and it'll go for 20 points. But for a veteran player, I expected more from Hill in terms of being more consistent. And he just seems to go up and down, up and down. In fact, some games I do wish the Cavs would take him out and maybe look at Jose Calderon a little bit at the point guard. And then finally, there's a guy who really, I want to give him not 1, not 2, not 3. I want to give him 4 shots of energy, and that's Rodney Hood. Because if you were to look at who has the most physical talent of the 4 players they received in those trades, it's Rodney Hood. 6'8". Left-handed shooter, very smooth. He's athletic. This is a guy that should be able to defend, that should be able to consistently score. Now, I was told by a Western Conference executive when the Cavs traded for him, said, be careful, Terry. He's kind of a tease. He's really kind of floats in and out. Some days he's really good. Some days he just disappears out there. Well, I'm looking at Rodney's numbers right now. 10.5 points a game, shooting like 43%. And that's what we've seen, a couple good games from Hood. There have been too many games where he's had the chance. For example, he started the day J.R. Smith was suspended. And he hasn't come through. The shots are there for Rodney Hood. When you're playing with LeBron-James, there are open shots. I think Hood right now is the guy, of all the 4 they've got, he's been the biggest disappointment and the guy they need to step up the most.